ahead on 12 News, the craft beer craze is coming to Robbinsdale with the proposed Taproom. Now, another local suburb could be getting in on the act. Then, road repairs in this weather. We'll show you how a Brooklyn Park company is behind a permanent road fix. But first, a lawsuit involving part-time firefighters filed against the city of Brooklyn Park. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. There's a new legal challenge for the city of Brooklyn Park.
The union representing Brooklyn Park's part-time firefighters has filed a lawsuit against the city. Delane Cleveland sat down with the attorney representing the union to find out why, and he joins us now to explain. Delane?
Mike and Alex, Brooklyn Park's part-time firefighters formed a union last February. The next step would be for the union and the city to negotiate a contract. Only problem is the two sides didn't have their first negotiation session until September 30th. And if a contract isn't signed by next month, there's a chance the union could be decertified.
We believe that they've been stalling, bargaining in bad faith in an attempt to make us look weak in front of our members and also to change the dynamics.
By changing the dynamics, he's referring to Brooklyn Park's recent decision to hire 18 full-time firefighters. The city opted to switch to full-time to help address ongoing challenges of recruiting and retaining part-time firefighters. However, the move essentially cuts the number of part-time firefighters in half. The union argues in the lawsuit that this affects their bargaining power. Fire Chief Ken Prilliman couldn't comment on the lawsuit, but he says the two sides should be able to negotiate in good faith.
This is new ground for everybody. It's new grounds for the city in terms of having a part-time unit represented. It's new ground for AFSCME in some regards, notwithstanding the other fire department, but this is a complex fire department and it's new grounds for them. So I think what we're experiencing really shouldn't come as a big surprise to anybody, and I believe that we'll get through this.
As for what happens next, the union's attorney says he's also optimistic they'll be able to negotiate a contract sometime over the next month. And Mike and Alex, he says that if they are able to negotiate a contract, then the lawsuit will go away. If not, then they may very well have to go to court.
Okay, we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Fine.
A New Hope man is one of 4 people recovering from injuries following a crash near a snowy interstate in Owatonna Tuesday afternoon. According to the Minnesota State Patrol, 29-year-old Jackson Guar went through a stop sign after exiting off of Interstate 35. The State Patrol says he crashed into a van, causing the van to roll over in the ditch. A woman and 2 children in the van suffered non-life-threatening injuries.
Maple Grove police are asking for the public's help to find a woman who used a stolen credit card at 2 local businesses. Police say this woman used the card at a gas station and a Cub food store last November. They released her picture today after they exhausted other efforts to find her. Police say she broke out the window of a parked car and stole personal belongings that included the credit card. Police believe she lives in or near Maple Grove, and if you recognize her, call Maple Grove Police.
A medical device manufacturing company with operations in Plymouth is eliminating jobs and moving them to Mexico. Greatbatch says it plans to lay off about 175 Plymouth workers. It's unclear when those cuts will start. The company currently employs about 430 people in Plymouth. A boost to the local craft beer scene. The city of Robbinsdale gave final approval to an ordinance change that would allow a brewery and tap room. The proposed Wicked Wart Brewery wants to take over space in the vacant TCF Bank building on West Broadway. The developer hopes to open by spring. And there's interest to build a taproom and brewery in Golden Valley, too, according to city officials. Tuesday night, the city began the process of updating its ordinances to make that happen.
A new era is underway at Crystal City Hall. 3 new council members were sworn in Tuesday night. Olga Parsons, Jeff Kolb, and Elizabeth Dahl all defeated incumbents this past election. All 3 have similar goals, starting with communication and how they listen to residents.
Politicians campaign and then they get elected and they forget about what they actually said they do. So connecting with the citizens of Crystal is the #1 priority.
A couple of things. The new council members are going to have their own websites where they'll be communicating to the residents directly. We're on Facebook. We're using all the tools available to us to communicate back and forth.
We have some really exciting ideas for the future, but especially, we want to be very responsive to the citizens.
The 3 new Crystal City Council members will serve 4-year terms.
For the first time, 2 women are in the top positions on the Hennepin County Board. Commissioner Jan Callison was elected chair, and Commissioner Linda Higgins, who represents Golden Valley and Plymouth, was elected vice chair. The board chair position was long held by Commissioner Mike Opat of Robbinsdale. He announced last year he would not run for that leadership position. Coming up, a social media challenge to save money and why one expert says it's not the best way to go about it.
And then a little bit later in sports, Maple Grove and Osseo go head-to-head in girls and boys basketball.
But first, a chance for some light snow Thursday morning, creating more icy roads.
The city of Maple Grove is doing something today it has never been able to do before in extremely cold weather.
The city is actually able to permanently repair roads, and as reporter Sonia Goen shows us, a Brooklyn Park company is making it all possible.
The sprayers froze.
Working outside when it's minus 30 with the wind chill.
Just another typical winter.
It's not for the weak.
They had to dig down to the water main in the street and run a new line to the house.
Maple Grove public work crews are braving the elements.
A little cold day to do it.
And doing something they would typically do in the spring.
Typically, we don't get asphalt till into March, early April.
Normally when it's this cold outside, crews would use what's known as a cold mix to temporarily repair roads. But today they're using something different.
We're going to try this new blacktop.
A year-round asphalt.
So it's a new product we're putting down. We actually picked the coldest day of the year because we have to order it 24 hours in advance.
This is the first time the product has been tested in extremely cold temps.
Yeah, it's nice stuff. It turned out nice. It's more of a permanent fix for the winter.
The product also saves them time. Crews don't have to come back in the spring and repair the roads all over again. So where did they get the product? Well, they got the year-long product from a company called Leap, which is based in Brooklyn Park. Not only does it work in cold temperatures, but it's good for the environment too.
We like to call it ready-to-bake asphalt. We actually take chunks and millings that are processed from roads, parking lots, etc.
The recycled blacktop is then processed and injected with a secret additive.
We are taking 100% recycled asphalt. We don't have any virgin aggregate that we use, so it's 100% recycled. With the addition of our emulsion, the end product is about 95% recycled.
And because the product is made indoors, there are barely any greenhouse gases, making it a win-win for the environment and for crews fixing the roads in the winter.
We're pretty happy with what we got so far.
Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Well, the year-round asphalt costs about the same as the cold mix, and other cities like Brooklyn Park are also trying out the product. Sounds like a good idea.
And now to another fix, this one in Robbinsdale. A repair estimate is being put together for that water main that ruptured twice and each time flooding the streets. The water main is operated by the Joint Water Commission and serves the cities of Crystal, Golden Valley, and New Hope. According to a preliminary estimate, it will cost $3 to $4 million to fix. After a break last year in Robbinsdale, an inspection found more weak spots. Officials want to start working on it this spring or as soon as the weather allows. Golden Valley's city engineer says many cities are seeing similar problems.
Significant investments need to be made to support the lifeblood of our society. This infrastructure touches every member of our society from the day they're born till the day they die. In a very intimate way. It's your water supply, your transportation, your wastewater, and so many other things.
All 3 cities will get water from a second pipeline that runs through Golden Valley while work on the other one takes place.
Coming up, a really sweet way in Maple Grove to survive this cold snap.
But first in sports, Wayzata battles another top 10 team in boys hockey. John Jacobson has your highlights when we come back.
Another close one for the Wayzata hockey team. They've had several one-goal difference games this season.
Unfortunately, they're 0 and they've lost every single one of those games so far. So that's been tough. Wayzata's boys hockey team plays a tough non-conference schedule to prepare for late conference and Section 6 AA play. Trojans came into Tuesday night's game with 4 one-goal losses. They were at home to take on 4th-ranked Hill Murray. The Pioneers will strike early in this game. Zach Mills passes to Tyler Nowak for the shot and goal. And Hill Murray is on the board just 16 seconds into the game. Later in the first period, Davis Zarembinski's shot from the blue line is tipped in by Nowak. That's a power play goal, and it's 2-0 Hill Murray after 1. Coach Pat O'Leary's Trojans play better after that, and goalie Alex Schilling makes some big stops, including these two in the second period to keep the score at 2-0. At the other end, Hill Murray goalie Sean Wendland is sharp too, robbing Max Zimmer there. He makes 32 saves on the night. Wayzata finally gets on the board with just over 3 minutes to play in the game. Mark Sendon's backhander makes it a 2-1 score. That's all Wayzata gets. The Trojans suffer their 5th one-goal loss of the season to 1 the final. Maple Grove's boys basketball team has just 1 loss this season to then #1 Apple Valley just after Christmas. Meanwhile, it's been a struggle for Osseo, with the Orioles trying to get back to the 500 mark Tuesday night when these rivals met at Osseo. We pick up the highlights in the second half. Jack Hutchison there nailing the long jump shot from Maple Grove. Brad Davison driving and scoring, putting the Crimson up by 17. Davison scores 20 on the night. Reed Nicko backs his man down and scores easily for MG. Osseo finally stops the bleeding on a three-pointer by Marmar Hughes. It's Maple Grove winning big 65-39. Crimson is the final. Like the boys, Maple Grove's girls basketball team has just 1 loss so far this season. The Crimson hosted an Osseo team looking to break a 3-game losing streak. First of 2 regular season meetings between these two teams. Mackenzie Barta will open the scoring with a 3-pointer for Maple Grove. She would go on to score 18 points in the night. And it's Mary Eckberg hitting the long-range shot for the Crimson. Sophomore Michaela Homoloff drives and hits for Osseo. She has a nice first half for Osseo as they keep this game close. Ariana Jones will launch a 3 for the Orioles and hit. And Osseo's in front 13-11. Crimson work the ball around the perimeter. Allie Schmidt knocks down the short jumper. It's a close first half, but Maple Grove pulls away in the second half, and they win it 57-46. Park Center's girls basketball team continues to hold the #1 spot in the Class 3A rankings, with all 3 of their losses coming against Class 4A teams. Pirates hosting Northwest Suburban Conference newcomer Irondale. And it's tight early in this game. Transition, Danielle Schaub to her sister Hannah for the layup. Park Center's up 16-15. And they stretch the lead, and Simonette going cross-court to Olivia Peterson for the baseline drive and hoop, and it's 33-24 Pirates. Danielle Schaub penetrates and then finds Hannah Schaub for a 3. Park Center takes a 42-26 lead into halftime. Second half, and Camille McCoy sets a screen, then cuts. Simonette finds her for 2 as the Pirates look to pull away in this one. Hannah Schaub with a nice shot fake, and she'll drive for 2 here. And Park Center goes on to win it over Irondale 79-59. Maranatha Christian Academy's girls basketball team is ranked 5th in Class A. The Mustangs and MCAA rival Heritage Christian each had just 1 loss coming into their game at Heritage Tuesday. Maranatha really likes to run. Ashley Lewis ahead to Elena Jarnot for the layup and foul. Jarnot scores 14 points. Heritage throws over the trap. Michaela Lean finds Morgan Meisner for the short bank shot. Lewis on the inbounds play, and Nadia Watkins for the quick shot for 2. Mustangs trying to build on their lead. Lexi Lee, really a great shooter for Maranatha. She'll drift back behind the 3-point line and buries it for a 20-9 Mustangs lead. Bella Lean is a good game for Heritage. She banks in the short shot on her way to a 20-point night. Jessie Mine will strip it from the dribbler and find Lee all alone for the layup. Lee scores 27 points in the game for Maranatha. Watkins will set up Elise Moore for the hoop. Heritage gives Maranatha a test, but the Mustangs win it 76-62. Man, let's look at sports for today.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Well, next to losing weight, saving money is the second most popular New Year's resolution.
There's a challenge spread through social media that pushes you to start saving weekly, starting with only $1. But not so fast, says one expert. Reporter Shannon Slatton analyzes the so-called 52-week money challenge in today's Money Savers.
For the past 2 years, the 52-week money challenge has been making the rounds on Facebook. The idea is a simple one. Save every week, starting with week 1 at $1, week 2 at $2, week 3 at $3, all the way to saving $52 during week 52, the last week of the year. If you've saved the weekly amount, you should have more than $1,300 in your savings account by December 31st. This idea is a hot one on Facebook, where you can even commit to a free page just to stay motivated. But we checked with Maple Grove's money-saving author Carrie Hasha to see if this seemingly easy method is a good way to save.
I would say don't do it, at least not that way.
Experts agree, because the 52-week challenge requires you to save the most money later in the year, during the holiday season, when people typically spend more money. Instead, Carrie recommends flipping the challenge around and saving the most when your motivation is the highest, starting with the $52 in week 1, $51 in week 2, and so forth.
If you flip it around, then in that last month, it's $10 you're setting aside. It's not hard, and it gets easier over time as your motivation declines. The amount in each month's deposit declines.
If you really want to make savings a priority, experts say you must save in 2 ways: habitually and automatically.
I recommend opening a separate savings account in a separate financial institution for this sort of savings, where you really want to see that nest egg grow. And so make it hard to get the money out, but then automate the deposits going in.
If that's too much, another line of thinking says you can have success if you just pick an amount that works for you, say $25 or $50 a week, and stick to it. For Money Saver, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
Interesting idea. Bankrate says nearly a quarter of consumers don't have an emergency cash reserve. It's recommended to have at least 3 months of income saved for emergencies.
Still ahead, what some find as a cure for this Canadian cold air.
One really sweet deal when we come back. And finally, so the forecast is negative something with negative something wind chills, cold enough to keep many area kids home from school, though.
So what do you do on a day off? Well, a Maple Grove business figures, why not warm up the day with a sweet offer?
We have a $2 cupcake sale today. It is super cold, schools are closed, so we said what better way to spend the day at home than with some Nadia Cakes cupcakes.
The Maple Grove Cupcake Shop announced the deal on Facebook, and their followers showed up Wednesday, many of them parents with kids in tow. It's not the first time that Nadia Cakes has offered the deal. They got a little experience last year when polar vortex entered our vocabulary. The sweet offer hit the spot for both parents and kids.
It's actually kind of a tradition with us on cold days, because Nadia's been doing this for a couple times, that we check when we know the school's going to be out and see if they're going to be a good deal on the cupcakes.
It's a smart thing to do, because if you know that kids are going to be out, they're going to be wanting cupcakes.
He speaks the truth. Nadia Cakes, which originated in California, they still have a shop there, and get this, they offer really hot days deals out in California. That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.